Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Rizky Purba. I'm from TBI-3 6th semester. Here, I will explain to you about how to communicate effectively. Please listen and check it out. Okay, let's continue. The first is definition of communication. Communication can be defined as the process of translating information and common understanding from one person to another. The word communication is derived from the Latin word communes, which means common. The definition underscores the fact that unless a common understanding results from the exchange of information, there is no communication. The next is characteristic of communication. The first is unavoidable. Next is the way exchange of information, and the next is meaningful interaction. And the next, process of transmitting, sharing ideas, etc. The fifth is sender and receiver, and the last, use of words in the spoken or written form. And the next, types of communication. The first is verbal. Verbal communication or communication through words provide the opportunity for personal contact and two-way flow of information. Verbal communication refers to the form of communication in which message is transmitted verbally, where communication is carried out either by word of mouth or by writing. And the next is non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication, defined as communication without words, it refers to any way of conveying meanings without the use of verbal language. Non-verbal communication is generally unintentional, unlike verbal communication. Okay, the next is features of communication process. The first is communication is an exchange of fact and opinions. Therefore, it is a two-way process. The second, there cannot be any communication without a message. The third, communication is a continuous process. The fourth, a message when conveyed, it has a direction to direction of the receiver of any message is also a part of message, and meaning of the message is complete when reaction of the message materializes. The fifth is the main objective of communication is to be understanding. And the next, it is an unprofessional process. And the seventh, communication can be in any form, non-verbal, oral, or written. The next is communication is something more than information, because it includes practical exchange, a part of sending information. And the next, or the last, it is an important part of direction. Okay, the next is elements of communication process. The first is communicator with sender. The second, communicate with receive. The third, message. The fourth, medium of communication or channel. And the last, direction or feedback. And the next is definition of effective communication. Effective communication is a combination of a set of skills which include attentive listening, non-verbal communication, the ability to deal with stress in the present situation, and the capability to identify and understand one's own emotion and those of the person one is communicating with. Okay, the next is characteristic of effective communication. The first is completeness of the message. The second, clearness and integrity of the message. The third, consciousness of the message. The fourth, consideration of physical setting and the recipient. The fifth, clarity of the message. And the sixth, courtesy to be maintained. And the last, correctness of the message. Okay, next, developing effective communication skills. Communication can be made effective by using technology, which acts as a source of power to enhance the communication style, and educational administrators need to encourage faculty members to come out with their own ideas and solutions. Okay, and the last is the way to communicate effectively. The first is think clearly what to communicate, and next, be clear about the objective of communicating, and the next, facilitates proper planning and coordination, and next, determine media, and the next, select the language and content carefully, and the next, create self-interest to the receiver, and the last is timing of communication. Okay, that's all my explanation. If I make a mistake, please forgive me. And the last, I will say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm an icon, man. I'm a girl about a 10. I should fuck her in a Benz.